Hi guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to be answering this question that you can see just up here. So I've got this here as well on my phone if I'm looking down. So I've been asked, could you give current and potential students of finance and accounting your experience of studying towards AAT and charter qualifications like the ACCA? Also, what methods or techniques did you use to manage revision and working effectively? So I'm going to break this down. So firstly, in terms of current and potential students of finance, what is it like studying the AAT? So when I was studying the AAT, I actually got day release from the employer that I was working with at the time. So each year that day changed, and I'm pretty sure it started off with a Tuesday day release to go ahead and attend college. So I had that one day out of the office, attended college in the classroom and didn't learn a damn thing. So I think I've spoken about this before today, but I don't learn in a classroom setting. I don't learn when people talk at me, so I have to go back and absorb the information in my own way. So I would say for somebody who's looking at going to classes or thinking about online classes, you want to nail that down. So decide, what's your learning technique? Do you learn better through online courses where you can do it in your own time, or live online courses, which is where you can ask the teacher as the class is being taught? Or do you prefer actually going into a class and sitting down and having that sort of, in-person contact? So I think that's really important, and these days you actually have the option. So it's not something that I had when I was doing the AAT. And I'd say a question around AAT that I get asked a lot is, how difficult is the AAT? So I would say that it is, it's a diploma at the end of the day. So it's just as difficult as undertaking another diploma in a completely different subject at college. So it is difficult in some regards, and I think if you're not used to studying, it can be quite difficult because you've got these exams that you've got to do at level 2, level 3 and level 4, and then you have a bit of a synoptic exam which covers everything at the end of that level. But it's manageable if you've got some very good study techniques, and if you're anything like myself, again, I have a very, very good long-term memory, but my short-term memory sucks. And I've spoken about that before today. So it takes me a long time to get something in, but once it's there, I retain that information really well. So again, I think you've got to really understand yourself and spend time understanding how you learn. So that's going to also help you when it comes to you doing your revision. So I think you've got to really spend some time just thinking about that before you go ahead and enroll on a course. But as I say, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I've seen lots and lots of students pass the AAT over the years, people who've come from different backgrounds. So people who are in their 50s, in their 60s, people who have completely changed their career, never done anything with maths, finance, etc. And one of the biggest, I'd say, misnomers about accounting is that you have to be really good at maths. You don't have to be really good at maths. As long as you can use a calculator, you're pretty much set. So don't worry if you're not, you didn't do well with maths at school. Don't let that put you off at all, because the sort of thing that the AAT covers is things like costing. It looks at statutory reporting, advising, ethics, etc. So there's written elements of the AAT as well as the numeric elements as well. So yes, when you go ahead and decide that once you've completed the AAT that you want to go ahead and do further study, which you don't have to do. So you could just complete the AAT and have a very, very good career out of it, and I've seen many, many people do that before today. But if you want to go ahead and go on to study the ACA, ACCA, CIMA, CIFA, etc., then it is a bit of a step up. And the best way that I can describe is that say you've gone to university and you've completed a degree, you will still have to undertake the ACCA or ACA or a further qualification after that, even if you studied accounting at university. So it's almost a step above university, I would say. And the shift between what you learn at AAT and ACCA and ACA is a step up, but once you've learned, the different topics and you've passed AAT, you're already, I'd say, 25% of the way there. So the further qualifications, particularly ACCA and ACA, are quite technical. So it's a lot of wording. There is a lot of numeric in there, but it's a lot of advisory, looking into technical situations, etc. So things like when you've done audit at AAT, if you've taken that option, or you've taken personal tax and business tax, you still have to do that in the ACCA and ACA and CIMA, etc. So what you learn at AAT is really going to set you up for passing those further qualifications. So the last bit of the question, which is what methods or techniques did you use to manage revision and working effectively? So I'll tell you what not to do firstly. So I failed one of my exams, one of my very first exams, and it really knocked me back from a confidence point of view. But the reason why I failed was entirely my own fault. And it's because I did not, excuse the squeaky chair, I did not know how to revise, and that in itself can be the equivalent of a pass or fail. So I gave myself more than enough time to revise. I revised every single day, but what I was doing was I was rewriting the notes that I'd taken down in class and made them, pretty, and made them nice to look at and highlighted and things like that. Don't do that. What you need to be doing is you need to be looking at the textbook, then doing a question, and then doing an exam question. So testing yourself. And I got to a point where I would put off certain questions because I didn't understand them, or the mock exams that I had were really difficult and I just didn't want to do it. I wasn't in the right frame of mind to do it. But I had to force myself through that, and you'll have to do that too. So force yourself to study and do the bits of the exam that you're finding really hard. Don't give yourself an easy time and just do all the questions that you already know how to do. So don't do that at all. Push yourself and do lots and lots of mocks, lots and lots of question practice. And that really for me was the only way that eventually that information was absorbed. So I could read again a textbook until I was blue in the face, but wasn't taking on any of the information in there, or I thought I was, and then I did an exam question and it was quite clear that I hadn't. So I think the more question practice that you do, the better. But also making sure that you've got an area in your house that you can go to that is only associated with study, because I think as humans we associate certain areas with certain things, and if you've set up a study area, then your thought process when you're sat there is, right, this is for study. So you're automatically at one step ahead. As if you were to sit at the dining table and try and do the study there, you need a nice quiet place to do it. And I'd also say you don't need to be there for long periods of time, and that doesn't work. So we're only capable of retaining so much information over a certain amount of time. So I'd say every 30 to 50 minutes, take 10 minutes and go and do something, go for a walk, listen to a podcast, whatever it is, just to take your mind off it. Because at the same time, your mind will be processing that information. So don't think that you can just cram it all in at once, and definitely don't leave revision until 2 weeks before the exam. Don't do that. Make sure that you've got plenty of time and that you're breaking it down bit by bit. But again, just exam questions, as many mocks as you can possibly do to test yourself is the way that I would do things. So I hope that answers the question. And if it did, then give the video a like, thumbs up. Feel free to ask any comments in the comment section below, and I'll catch you at the next video.